Arguably one of the most well-known types of monsters out there, the term zombie brings forth imageries unique to everyone's mind, whether it be that of the countless shows, movies, and franchises out there, or the small miscellaneous characters, stories, or urban legends passed down among generations. We all have our own version of zombie, but where did it all start? Why is it still a concept that intrigues people to this day? And is it really possible that they could exist? Let's start off with where it all originated from. The term zombie comes from the Haitian folklore in which the zombie is an undead corpse reanimated through many means, most commonly being that of magic. Now today, of course, magic is usually never depicted as the form in which the corpse is brought back. Rather more, we use a more scientific cause such as radiation, disease, and viruses of unknown origin. Back to the Haitian beliefs though, zombies are featured widely in Haitian rural folklore as dead persons physically revived by the act of necromancy from a bokor. Now I'm going to pronounce a lot of these things wrong, so just bear with me. Which is a form of sorcerer or witch. The bokor is opposed by the hongon or a priest, and the mambo, which is a priestess in the formal voodoo religion. The zombie will remain under the control of the bokor as a personal slave, having no will of their own. The belief in zombies has its roots in traditions brought to Haiti by enslaved Africans and their experiences in the New World. It is believed that the voodoo deity Baron Samedi would gather them from their graves and bring them to the heavenly afterlife in Africa, unless they had offended him in some form or another, in which case they would be forever a slave after death, in the form of a zombie, however. Strangely enough, it is said that zombies could actually be saved by feeding them salt. A number of scholars have also pointed out the significance of the zombie figure as a metaphor for the history of slavery in Haiti. While many scholars have associated the connection of Haitian zombies with African culture, a connection can also be brought up and suggested by the island's indigenous people known as the Taino. This partially based on early accounts of native shaman practices. Why then, though, are zombies such a huge interest for people in different forms of media? Well, I suppose it could partially be related to the whole notion of death itself. People are always fascinated and fearful of death. However, admit it or not, people truly don't know what happens after death. This even warning question as to why many religions around the world have popped up, trying to explain away the fears and instill hope into its followers, while others just accept the idea that once one dies, they simply just cease to exist. But neither really seem to talk about the idea of people being brought back from the dead as soulless beings hunting for either brains or flesh. I mean, there are certainly accounts, most actually being creatures and cultures with similar stuff, but not all of them are actually human. But regardless, the idea of death is always an amazing catalyst to spike people's interest. Then comes the movies and the literary genre of horror and fantasy. And, well, you got yourself a nice little starting point, as major films and books would bring the idea of extended afterlife and zombie resurrection into the Western countries and cultures, such as Mary Shelley's Tale of Frankenstein or the 1968 film Night of the Living Dead, with countless other forms of media taking part in the growing craze, such as music, art, gaming, all continue to replenish the intrigue that people have over the topic. But let's be honest, zombies cannot possibly be real, right? Well, sad and scary truth is, it kind of is all too possible that there could be a zombie or zombie-like outbreak in the world. Could it ever reach apocalyptic levels? Maybe not, but you never know. Going off a somewhat common zombie tropes of eating brains, a lot of these possibilities stem from our own. Things such as Toxoplasma gondii or Orpheocordyceps, parasites and fungi that can infest, host, and alter, or even take over the mind. Granted, the victims are usually rats or insects, but for the former, we aren't all too different from rats. Ever wonder why we kind of test our drugs and prescriptions on them before we do it to ourselves? We share a lot more than most people realize, so say that this type of parasite were to mutate and grow capable of infecting us humans. Well, you would have a lot of people in a near unseen state of self-preservation and rational thinking, which would lead a lot of people to cause a lot of deaths and accidents. But then moving on up the crazy ladder, there are neurotoxins, which actually relate back to the beliefs and practices down in Haiti, as there is use of a toxin found in Japanese blowfish, a poison that can put a person into a near-death state. Those affected can then be brought back through the use of alkaloid chemicals, putting them into a trance-like state, but able to do simple actions such as eat, sleep, moan and groan, and shuffle along at a slow pace. These victims also experience a form of memory loss, but even if they were to remember, they're in no shape to speak out for help. Still think this is all just a bit of fairy tale and folklore? Well, once again, this sort of thing originated in Haiti through hoodoo practice. To back it up, there's Clairvius Narcisse, who was a Haitian man who was declared dead not by one, but two doctors and buried in 1962. They would later find him wandering around the village 18 years later. It would turn out that a local and powerful voodoo priest had been using naturally occurring chemicals to basically turn him into a zombie. Clairvius and other people turned into the zombies were then later put to work at sugar plantations. Spooky, I know, but thankfully this form of practice would be nearly impossible to mass produce and administer on a large scale. But who knows, things could always change at some point in the future. Until then, feel safe knowing that you are not a zombie at the moment, and maybe when we die, burn ourselves or seal our coffins in concrete. Keep the rest of the population safe, just in case. Anywho, I thank you for staying through the end of this video. I know it was a little bit of a spookier, realish video topic today, but it was a request from a viewer. If you have any of your own, please make sure to leave them down in the comments below, as well as what comes to mind when you first hear the word zombie. I can't wait to read them, and I hope to see you all soon. Thank you for staying with us to the end. If you enjoyed this journey, hit the like button down below and leave a comment in the comment section. I always consider suggestions for new videos and topics, so do not be shy. Also, do not forget to subscribe in order to stay up to date on all things unexplained. Until then, I hope to see you again next time as we take another trip into the realm of the unknown.